What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. Today it is time for the Week 16 Premier League predictions. The videos are coming thick and fast, but we did have the high odds Monday night treble come in for the members over on Patreon. You can use that link up there at the top of the page, and flashing up on the screen now are all of the members that have joined since we started a couple of months ago. We are past 100 members, so thank you all so much for that. If you want to get involved, click the first link in the description. But now it is time to get involved with the Week 16 Premier League predictions. As like I said, they're coming thick and fast. I still don't know all of the results from Week 15, but I know most of them, so let's get to it. Kicking off with Crystal Palace up against Liverpool. Palace just lost 2-0 to Bournemouth, which was actually not as surprising as it would have been in recent years, and Liverpool got a fairly comfortable 2-0 win against Sheffield United. Again, not too surprising there, and I actually think that that's going to basically happen again. Liverpool won 2-0, Palace lost 2-0. I'm going to go for the same thing. Liverpool to win at 1.56, 2-0. I think Liverpool are just better than Palace. Palace, not really sure what you get from them. Could they be dragged into a relegation battle? Maybe any other season, but this season. But as you can see, we've got the likes of Luton, Burnley and Sheffield United. I tend to discount Everton from this conversation because I think they are better than these three teams. They've had the points deduction, and what a season to have it in when you've got these three championship sides that just aren't up to par with the rest of the Premier League. So I think Crystal Palace, the likes of Palace, Bournemouth, Forest, they won't actually be in a relegation battle. I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. I think that the three that came up are going to go back down, and I mean, say what you want, I think that just says more about the gap between the Premier League and the Championship. After this, it's Brighton up against Burnley. Brighton, we correctly predicted they would beat Brentford 2-1, and with Burnley, I think they are going to get a win. I was going to go for 3-0, but as we know, Brighton have conceded in every single Premier League game this season, so I have therefore given Burnley a goal, and I'm going to go for 3-1 rather, which the tip is going to be Brighton to win and over 2.5 goals at 2, just in case it is 3-0 and Brighton finally keep a clean sheet. But if they don't, I wasn't as confident to go for Brighton and over both teams to score, because I think maybe, just maybe, they could keep a clean sheet here. Again, it's not really logical given the fact that they've conceded in every single Premier League game, so we're going to give a goal to Burnley, losing out there to Wolves 1-0. Quite a close game, but again, Wolves to win against Burnley was another prediction we had, so I think Brighton win this. We'll go high scoring. We'll say both teams to score, but the tip is Brighton and 3 or more goals at evens. After this, it's Manchester United up against Bournemouth. Bournemouth, they're scoring goals. Palace 2-0, Villa 2-2, Sheffield United 3-1, Newcastle 2-0. What a month. What a month for Bournemouth it's been. Manchester United finally bouncing back from their defeat against Newcastle, absolutely playing Chelsea off the park. Actually playing well, making a few changes in the lineup. It seems like they actually wanted to win, which was good to see. I do think that Bournemouth are going to get a goal because, as I said, they've been scoring. So I'm going to go for another repeat scoreline. I'm going to go 2-1 to Man United. And we're going to go with Man United and both teams to score at 2.87 because, as I said, Bournemouth have been scoring goals. Man United, they have been conceding goals, apart from Everton. I mean, but they haven't really conceded any goals there, to be fair. But they conceded to Newcastle, they conceded to Chelsea. Bournemouth have been scoring goals. I think this is quite likely. It could be 3-1 United, could be 2-0, but we'll go 2-1. Man United and both teams to score a lot of value there. After that is Sheffield United up against Brentford. I'm going to give Sheffield United a goal. Tell me why. It's just because I couldn't predict Brentford to win 2-0. But regardless, I am going to predict Brentford to win 2-1, and I think my tip is actually, I'm torn between Brentford to win at 1.73 or both teams to score at 1.8. I could see Brentford winning this 2-0. I mean, if we look at Sheffield United's recent losses, 2-0 Liverpool, 5-0 Burnley, 3-1 Bournemouth, it's not looking good. And Brentford, they did just lose out to Brighton despite taking an early lead through an Mbeumo penalty, but I'm going to go 2-1. Both teams to score, Brentford to win. You could double up, and because that's what we did with the last game week, we said Brentford to win and both teams to score against Luton, and they ended up winning 3-1. I think this is very similar, so we're going to go 2-1 to Brentford. After that, Wolves up against Nottingham Forest. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and I think Nottingham Forest are going to lose again. Unbelievable loss, 5-0 to Fulham, and Wolves getting a classic 1-0 Wolves win, to be honest. I'm going to go 2-0. My tip is Wolves to win at 1.86. I think it was very similar odds by the time the kickoff happened for Wolves to beat Burnley, and they did, and I think they can beat Nottingham Forest as well at Molineux, so I'm going to go for 2-0. Now, next up, it is Aston Villa up against Arsenal. I think Villa, they're on a winning streak of 14 or 15, all won in the Premier League. Obviously, they lost a cup game at home at Villa Park and stuff like that, but in the league, it's been 14 or 15 games, all wins. But you know who the last team was to beat Aston Villa at Villa Park? It was, in fact, their opponents today, Arsenal. 4-2, back in February. What a game, late drama, and Arsenal got the win there. I think Arsenal, it's going to be a win sandwich with Arsenal at either end. I think Arsenal can win this. I think they can. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Arsenal. My tip is both teams to score at 1.61. I do think both teams will score, but Arsenal, they're going under the radar a little bit here because we had some injury problems earlier on in the season. We were looking a little bit light on players, should we say. Still fuming about this L, by the way. But now we're pretty much back to full strength minus Thomas Partey, but Declan Rice has kind of filled the void. I'm not so certain about the Odegaard and Havertz combination, but Havertz has been popping up and doing well, and I think with full strength, I think Arsenal can do a job on Aston Villa. I think everyone expects kind of Villa to win. You know what I mean? I think everyone thinks they're going to get something from this game. So I think, despite being an Arsenal fan, I think actually, I don't know if it's logic or if it's thinking with my heart or my head or both or neither. Something's telling me Arsenal can get a win here. So I'm going to go for a 2-1. And what a win that would be, by the way, because if Villa win, they're 1 point behind Arsenal. Liverpool will win against, let's say they do win against Crystal Palace. Liverpool will then be top of the league. So it's a very interesting game week. And if Arsenal can get the win, that is a statement. A statement for the Premier League title race. If Aston Villa beat Man City and lose to Arsenal in the same game week, that's like a 6-pointer between Arsenal and City that they didn't even have to play each other for. So this is huge. This is absolutely massive, and I'm going to back Arsenal. How exciting. Honestly, I think I would be happy for a draw because, like I said, since Arsenal beat them in February, no one's even got a Premier League point from Villa Park. So I think you'd have to take a draw, but I'm going to go for 2-1. After this, Everton-Chelsea, again, this is... I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't know if maybe Chelsea need to bounce back from that woeful performance against Manchester United. We haven't yet seen the Everton-Newcastle game. It hasn't happened, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 Chelsea, and I'm actually just going to say Chelsea win 2.24. They can't play that bad again. They are a better team than Everton, and they have got good players, and despite how bad they played against Man United, they had about 18 million good chances. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Chelsea and say that Chelsea win this fixture, honestly, because the odds look good, and I don't know if Everton are going to get anything from Newcastle. I've predicted Everton will lose 2-1 to Newcastle, so I'm going for a 2-1 double this week of losses for Everton, but they will be fine in the Premier League. Much also thanks to teams like Luton, who are hosting Manchester City, and look at this blip. Look at this run of fixtures. Absolutely insane for Manchester City. Luton, I believe, has scored in every single home game. They scored 3 against Arsenal, doubling Arsenal's away goals conceded for the entire season, which is insane. Manchester City are going to bounce back, and they're going to win 4-1. It's going to be big. But my tip is Man City to win and both teams to score at 2.75. I think they are going to win this. Although there are Champions League fixtures they've got to think about. They might do a bit of pep roulette, a bit of rotation. It could be a 2-1. It could be very close. You remember when Man City beat Sheffield United 2-1 and it was very late on and Sheffield United could have and probably should have got a point from City? It could be like that. So I'll meet in the middle and go 3-1. 4-1 was my initial reaction. I'm thinking it could be 2-1, so we'll go 3-1 just to split the difference. City and both teams to score. The penultimate game of the game week is Fulham up against West Ham. I don't know the result between Tottenham and West Ham, but again, I have predicted both teams will score in that game and Tottenham will get the win. Fulham-West Ham, Fulham off the back of a brilliant 5-0 win at Craven Cottage. West Ham are a better opposition, however, they do have European football to contend with, I do believe. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. My tip is both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at 2.1, because if I had to pick the 3 most likely scorelines of this game, it would be 2-1 either way, or 2-2. Obviously 1-1 could be considered, so maybe you could just look at both teams to score. I believe we've been seeing that 1-1 there, we have 2-1 there, 3-2 there, 2-3 there. So since October, both teams have scored in all of the West Ham games, so it is worth considering, but I'm going to go 2-2 and both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. And then the final game of the game week. Is it game of the week? I would say, to be honest, I'd say Aston Villa Arsenal is the game of the week given the context of the league and what's just happened. But this is a very close second. Tottenham, Newcastle. This is very interesting. These games, typically, the meetings between the two, both teams always score. We've had a 6-1, I think. We've had like a 5-1. Both ways as well. I think both teams are going to want to get something from this game. I think there's going to be goals. I was tempted to go for a Newcastle win. I was tempted to go for a Tottenham win. So as a result, I've gone for neither. I'm going to go for 2-2. My tip is both teams to score at 1.44. I think this is going to be a very close game. And honestly, as an Arsenal fan, I would love it if Tottenham-Newcastle ends this way, because then they only get a point. Man United would beat Bournemouth, City would beat Luton, Arsenal would beat Villa, and Liverpool would beat Sheffield United, just kind of growing the gap. Hopefully Arsenal can continue to do that. So that is going to do it for the Week 16 Premier League predictions. A lot of exciting games in there, tips. Like I said, if you want to support the channel, get exclusive accumulators and stuff for the Premier League and all the other leagues, then click the link in the description. There's never a better time of year to do it than December, because it's only one monthly payment and you get the entire festive season of football. Even if you just want to pay the monthly fee for December, knowing there's a lot more games and you get a lot more tips, and then cancel your membership in January, that is fine by me as well. But if you want to get involved over the festive period, then click the link in the description, drop a like, subscribe. We are super close to 26,000 subscribers as well, which is awesome. So I will see you in the next video very soon.